Catherine was a Catholic Spanish princess who was born on December 16, 1485. She was the surviving child of Ferdinand and Isabella. By the age of 3, her parents began to look for a political match that she should marry. She was betrothed to King Arthur, the son of King Henry VIII. At 16, she made a voyage to England, and a month later she married to Arthur in Old St. Paul's Cathedral. Not even 6 months later, he died of the sweating sickness. Catherine was now widowed. 14 months after Arthur's death, she was betrothed to his brother Henry, who was not old enough to marry at the time. On June 11, 1509, she was married to King Henry. Shortly after the marriage, Catherine became pregnant. Her first 5 pregnancies were unsuccessful, but her 6th child lived. Her name was Mary. Henry began growing frustrated by the lack of a male heir, but he still remained a devoted husband. Later, Henry began to fall in love with one of his sister's mistresses, named Anne Boleyn.
Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. Can't live, can't breathe with no air.
By the time Henry's relationship became common knowledge, Catherine was 42 and no longer able to conceive. Now Henry's main goal was to have a male heir. Henry began to read the text of Leviticus, which said, if a man takes his brother's wife, she should be childless. But he had a daughter. That didn't count in his mind. Now Henry started to petition the Pope for an annulment. When Catherine found out, she was very upset and knew that the court who would decide her fate would be very impartial. Catherine then went directly to the Pope, who she thought would listen to her. Things came to a head in 1533 when Anne became pregnant. Henry had to act fast, and by that he rejected the power of the Pope. He then had Thomas Cranmer grant the annulment. Catherine was now forced to renounce as Queen of Dowager. She then spent the rest of her life in several unhealthy castles and died on January 7, 1536. At the end of King Henry's marriage with Catherine, Anne became pregnant. To avoid questions, Anne and Henry were secretly married. The king's marriage with Catherine was never actually dissolved, so him and Anne were not legally married. By August, preparations for the birth of Anne and Henry's child were being made. The child was sure to be a boy. The child had already been referred to as Prince. On September 7, 1533, at 3 p.m., Princess Elizabeth was born. Henry was disappointed that Anne had not given birth to a prince. The queen was pregnant again by 1535, but she miscarried the baby. It was reported to have been a boy. In the end, Anne was taken to a private execution site to be beheaded. She was being accused of treason, adultery, and plotting to kill the king. She was then buried in an unmarked grave in the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula.